L'Shem yichud kushabrichu ushchinte hineni muchan umizuman lekayem mitzvat ha'aseh shel sfirat ha'omer shel sfirat ha'omer shel sfirat ha'omer shel sfirat ha'omer. Good evening, Erev Tov. Here we are. Another night, another closing of one and starting of another. This night in particular, before we close out, is the realization of starting one last day of another complete week. And so the days start going, but the weeks start finishing. And we think about how far we've come, and we stand in the moment of present, and we realize that for this Omer counting, there's still work to be done, but there's not that much time left. But I always think about it as just because we get to Shavuot doesn't mean that we're done with self-reflection, interpretation, and growth. And so it's just kind of a place to springboard into, hey, we've been doing this work, we've been practicing, we've been following a model of opening our hearts. And yet we can continue far beyond that time. And so while we're in the time that we have left together in this moment of time, in this period of Omer, in this 7 of 7, 49 days, we realize that coming together each night is an opportunity for fulfilling that which is an obligatory mitzvah, obligatory commandment that many people just don't practice. And realize how important it is for us, otherwise we wouldn't be showing up. And so it says in the Torah, yes, you should count for these days. Some people just count the numbers. Some people count and have some spiritual practice that goes with it. Some people don't do it at all, and some people have no idea what it even is. And so I would consider ourselves that much more connected because we do this. And we do it because we are a team that works together. And that's why we do it. And that's how we do it. And that's why we continue to count on this time together. So before we close out this day, let's think about what we're grateful for, what experiences that we've witnessed for ourselves, that we felt for ourselves in the last 24-hour period. Our gratitude at the closing of each day is a reminder that, you know what, every day is not perfect, but every day is an opportunity to see something good. And so if you feel like sharing, please do in the comments. If you don't, hold on to it or think about it, really. Sometimes we're, you know what, I'm not really sure what the gratitude was, or, you know what, I don't really feel grateful for this moment. Whatever that is, sit with that. And perhaps maybe we can find something that you can be grateful for. It doesn't have to be all, but it has to be that we can sit and think about what is gratitude in the first place. As we end our day and reflect on our encounters of the day, we find something. Magadlu ma'asecha ya me'odam ku makshavotecha. How great is the unfolding of all life. How deep is the mystery. The mystery is that there's something good in it all, even on the worst day. Sometimes we need a little help removing the blinders. Sometimes we need a little help opening the eyelids. Sometimes we need a little help to see that which we can't see. And it was, Samantha, you were right, an awesomely beautiful day. It was, you said, absolutely, I would say, it was a 10 out of 10 day, for sure. Weather-wise, it was beautiful. We can only hope that we have some more of those days in a row, right? Certainly, for those of you that were here this morning, I wasn't here. Ellis had a thing at school, and the timing just didn't work out for me, and so I told Rabbi Jay, go ahead. It was the end of their window of time that they call kindness. And one of the teachers in the school died from childhood cancer. Her mother works in the school, still works in the school. And so they raise money for Be Positive, which is an organization that is responsible for or is noteworthy of using donations to help support families of children who have cancer. And so the school has always raised money for it, and it was an opportunity for you to go to the school and see your kids, sing a song that they've made up themselves. I think one of the teachers choreographed a dance for it and changed the lyrics of the song, and it was really an opportunity to raise money, but it was an opportunity to watch our kids in action, to show that being kind is really all that matters, regardless of the situation you're in. Offering kindness and love towards one another is something that, is a must, and it has to be taught from a young age. And so it was great to have been there. Ellis, of course, didn't sing, but he was dancing away, which I'm sure tomorrow he's going to sing that song in the morning just for the sake of singing it. Today was, I guess, not the day for that. But it was great. He was with his friends, his class, his classmates, and it was wonderful to see all the kids perform together. And so certainly a moment of gratitude, and to be able to do it outside. Because when I first woke up, I thought to myself, oh, this is going to be a day of rain. Like, no one wants to see that inside. And so it was really the reminder that kindness matters, right? We know this. Kindness matters. And so let's go into this new day. Let's forgive. Let's move forward. Let's do the day. And let's see what will unfold for us today. As we know that yesterday was day 27, so you must know what's coming today. Let's do it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer al sfirat haomer Al Sfirat HaOmer, Al Sfirat HaOmer, Hayom Shmona V'Esrim Yom, Shehem Arba'a Shavuot, LaOmer. This is the 28th day, totaling 4 weeks of the Omer. 4 weeks completed, 3 weeks to go, but we're not complete yet, because we have to get through this day. For this day is the last day, the culmination of this week that we're in, which is the week of Netzach, which is the week of persistence, endurance, perseverance, the week that is indicative of this idea of determination and tenacity, the idea that we're ready to take on that which shows up for us. And so on this, which is the last day of this week, we're in that time of Shekhinah, or Malchut, this presence this flow, Shechina Shebenetzach, this flow of eternity, the sovereignty, the leadership, the nobility. Psalm 128 on day 28 says, a song of arising. Filled with abundance are those who honor the mystery and follow the ways of the Spirit. We stand in a moment and feel our connection to all that came before us and all that will come after us. Remember our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and all whose actions have helped create our own lives. So when it says grandparents and great-grandparents, some of us are fortunate enough to know our great-grandparents and others weren't. But certainly you've heard the stories, we hope. And so the stories are that which we stand upon. Their actions, great aunts, uncles, whatever it is, the people that came before us that we attach to in our own families, but in the greater family of humanity, they've all helped to create our lives, to shape our lives. And we remind ourselves that we right now are shaping the world for those who will someday call us ancestors. That's the weirdest thing. If it's weird. Maybe that's not the right word. But that reality, that realization that we are going to be an ancestor one day to someone else. Who is it going to be that's going to say like, wow, remember what blah blah did? Me, you, us? To think about how we look back to what our ancestors did for us. Someone's going to do that, and we're going to be that someone. It's a wild thought. It's crazy. It's real. Right? So we got work to do, because none of us are ready to be ancestors for sure. So our work for today is easy for some of us and not easy for others, as usual, is to reflect on a world in which your grandparents lived. Reflect in a world in which your grandparents lived. Some of us had close relationships with our grandparents. Two sides, one side better than the other side, one side closer than the other side, one side always present, always vocal, verbal, and one side not so much. Maybe both sides the same, how amazing that would be, but I'm not sure that that's the case for anyone. But we think about what their life was like, which means we're also thinking about the lives of our parents and how they did it. Because they did what their parents thought was best for them. And they, your grandparents, did what your great-grandparents thought was best. And perhaps it's, living with better conditions. Perhaps it is, living in a more modern world. Perhaps it is having a little bit more than the generation before had, or less, in fact. We don't, it's not always the same in each generation. We always hope that it will be better, but sometimes yes and sometimes no. And so we're imagining this life in which our grandparents lived. Maybe some part of that you were living also. And then we need to imagine a world in which we would like to bestow on the next generation. Certainly it's not the world that we're living in right in this moment, but perhaps personally we're living in a world, in our own world. Often we're living in our own world, in our own world, or a world that we can envision. What would that world look like? If we were to bestow a world on the next generation, what would you imagine it to be like? What would you hope for? What would the changes that you would make in your life in this moment for the sake of their lives in the future? You're not going to change the world in one day. But in one day, you can envision a reality that is fitting. In one day, you can envision a reality of that which is better, that which is maybe simpler. I feel like sometimes the world is that we live in is just so complex and so difficult to navigate. Maybe the world that we'd like to bestow for the next generation is simpler, is easier. Maybe it's a world that just has more kindness and love. Maybe it's a world that has more possibility. Maybe it's a world that we see that feels more whole, more wholesome. So let's do that work together. Psalm 28 verse 7 says, "The mystery is my strength and my shield, my heart trusts all that will unfold." We are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you. It has been a wonderful evening again, as it always is. Samantha and Donna, Linda, Bet, Rachel, Debbie, for all of us, let us envision a world for those yet to come. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai. Quick announcements. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9:30. Tomorrow night at 9:30. Wednesday, the same. Linda, thank you for letting me know, because I would be wondering where you are, like a good Jewish mother with worry. Just one thing, Thursday morning, our morning service will be at 10 a.m. because there is a bat mitzvah. And so if you're joining us, if you're a morning joiner on Thursday mornings, typically don't come at 9:30. You won't see us at 10 o'clock. We will be live with the bat mitzvah of Alexa Newman, and we hope that you will be able to be there virtually with us as well. Lila Tov, a restful night, a night that will restore us to a little bit more energy, a little bit more love, a little more possibility, a little bit more persistence, perseverance, and endurance. We'll see you tomorrow. Lila Tov.